Age of Fantasy Skirmish. Today we're going to do a fight between the High Elves and the Orcs. Let's take a look at these High Elves real quick before we take a look at terrain. I got something fun for you guys. Age of Fantasy Skirmish. It's the one-page rules with one page of special rules that you don't really need because when you go on to their army builder, it gives you all the special rules you need right here. Today, we are going to do the High Elves versus the Orcs. Oh, I see there's a little extra 20 points there. The High Elves are going to have a High Noble. I'll show you what the figures look like here in a little bit. He's a Quality 3, Defense 4. He's got a Heavy Halberd, and he's a Caster 3. So he's got the big boom boom spells. Remember, the Orcs have no magic. We got 2 Silver Cavalry. Each of those guys is a separate unit, Quality 4, Defense 4. And they do have the Lance, which, see, and this is what I'm talking about. What does the Lance do? Oh, when you charge, you get AP 2. Notice you don't get the bonus attack like you used to, I think. I think I'm playing the most up-to-date version, but I don't know. And then we got 2 archers. Now, these are sharpshooters. They've got the longbow with a 30-inch range. Quality 4, Defense 4. Contrast that with the Orcs, who have Quality 5, Defense 5. And then we've got 3 warriors with swords. They're actually, well, halberds. We treat them as halberds. They've got the big 2-handed swords. So we gave them rending. Rending is unmodified results of 6. Count as having AP 4. You're going to have a hard time surviving the armor roll with that. And then we do get some spells here. Our spellcaster. So this here, let's take a look at how this works. Modesty costs 1 spell point. As a caster 3, our boom boom boy is going to get 3 points, 3 spell points at the beginning of every turn. He can cast Modesty for 1 point. Now, it's a 50-50 chance. You got to roll a 4 or better to be successful. You can juice it. For every spell point you dump in, you get a +1 on that roll. So if you dump in 2 points, you're going to be successful on a 2-up. Target 2 enemy units, get -1 2-hit rolls next time they shoot. 2 enemy units within 18 inches, right? So, yeah, the drain. An enemy model within 9 inches takes 1 hit. And then if you look down here, a 3-point spell, Tempest. Target 2 units within 12 inches, take 2 hits each. But you're going to have to spend 3 points. And you might not even get that spell off. You roll the one-eyed snake, because you're only rolling 1d6. Then even if you juice it twice, you just lost 5 spell points. On the other side, we've got a champion. This is going to be you've seen it before the last week. This is going to be the, what do you call those guys? The bull-headed guys? With the big stick? It's Minotaur. He's got a big stick, so he gets 4 attacks with that at AP 1. We have a simple ogre warrior, who is going to be Quality 4, Defense 4, but he's Tough 3. So Tough is great. Normally in this game, when your figure gets hit, you roll a d6, add the number of wounds, and if it's a 6 or better, then he's out of the game for good. On a 2 through 5, he's stunned, so he falls down, and he has to spend an activation standing back up. These guys don't check that until they take 3 wounds. And you add 3 to the roll, the level they need to roll. So instead of being killed on a 6, they're killed on a 9. So when he takes that, I think it's when he takes the 4th wound. Well, let's see what it says here. Tough. When it has taken at least X wounds. Yeah. So on the 3rd wound, you roll a d6, add 3, and you need to get 8 or better to eliminate the figure from the table altogether. However, if you do take a wound, he is still stunned, so he's going to lose a full turn getting back on his feet. As I said, we have a unit of wild boars. These are 2 units. They are fast. They've got Frenzy, Scout. All these Furious are great. Furious means that when you charge, unmodified 6 count as 2 hits. Wait, hits from unmodified rolls of 6 are multiplied by 2. Only the original hit counts as a 6. For purposes of free hits, don't count as a 6 for purposes of other abilities, like Frenzy. The Boar Riders have Scout and Strider, which means they are deployed last and they can move 12 inches, and they ignore movement through... Oh, I forgot about that in the last battle. That would have made a big difference. They ignore... Strider means they ignore the movement penalties for rough ground. We do have a unit of orcs with scary shields. Their opponents are at -1 on the 2 hit rolls. And then we have a unit of just regular orcs and a unit of orc shooters. And as I said, Quality 5, range 24, not nearly as good as those 2 single-man snipers that the elves have. I think it's time to lay out some terrain, and I got something a little different today. I got tired of looking at the same old stuff, so I went to the Dollar Tree and I spent $6.25 to get this little. I think you put it in your garden. It's a little like little elf house, little Keebler house. It's not the right scale. It's a little bit big for 10 millimeters. So I'm going to turn it away and we'll just pretend like the whole thing looks like that. And then these are just like giant. Look at this creepy boy. Look at this. How's this look like for a fairy garden? Right? There's some old man Willow for you. Keep your distance from that guy. We might make, I'm going to put him in a piece of terrain, and anybody, that's going to be dangerous terrain. Because not only do we have old man Willow, but we got, oh, that's going to sound good on the replay, isn't it? We got his wife, too. So we got a couple of these creepy looking trees that are going to whomp you if you come into their domain. And hey, look, we got something a little different. For $6, who says they can't afford... And of course, who can't afford Wargaming, of course, Welcome is just the kind of thing you would expect the elves to put in a garden that wants to murderize you. And look at that fun little table. We've got a little fairy garden, a little fairy maze here in the center of the table. I don't know who's deploying where. We've got 3 pieces of treacherous ground, the broken ground patrolled by Mother Willow, the swamp patrolled by Father Willow, and then the stream in the background. Everything else blocks movement. A treacherous terrain, you can only move, any turn you move through it, you can only move 6 centimeters. So the way I interpret that, if you are further than 6 centimeters away, all you can do is move in. So I give just that little bit of extra. You have to stop when you enter if you're beyond the 6 centimeters. You can't charge in, so you can't, I don't think, I've been playing that you can charge into it. You can move 6 centimeters to come to grips, but you don't get the double move for charging. The other thing is everything else blocks the line of sight, and I think that's it. I think we're to the point that we can roll for initiative and deployment, although I guess we should probably figure out what our victory objectives are first. The elves will go first, and they're going to get, let's do that. They have to seize number 4. So that's number 4. It's 1, 2, 3 in the back, 4, 5, 6 in the front. They have to, I always do it upside down. Control objective marker 3. That's this guy. And then they also want to control objective marker 6 at the beginning and end of the same round. So they may want to deploy here in the near side. The orcs want to destroy a hero. They want to control objective marker 5 at the beginning and end. So that's the one in the center of the maze. And finally, they want to destroy one enemy unit in melee. So they are primarily going to be hunting elves, going on an elf hunt, which means both guys want to deploy on the near side of the table. Blue die will be for the elves. The elves are going to get to deploy first, and they're going to deploy on the near side. After alternating deployment, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, the fairy maze blocks line of sight and movement. These walls can't be crossed, nor can they be shot over or bespelled over. The orcs have left their boar riders over here to create confusion. There's only one mounted guy over here, one of the silver cavalry for the elves. The orcs are going to send their 2 big boys into the maze to try to grab 2 and 5. The only one that the elves have to challenge them is one of their silver cavalry, maybe. The guy over on the left is fast enough. He may be able to get in there and mix things up as well. But he's probably going to be chasing those orc boar riders down. It all depends on the order that you do things. There's a lot of move, counter move, particularly at this stage of the game. The orcs have put their fighters and their shooters. They really want to kill this guy, which forced the elves to put their shooters and fighters over here as well. So even though it's confined, it's gonna be a battle over on this side of the battlefield. The other thing we're gonna do is we will play that you get 1 victory point for each objective marker you control at the end of the game. We're finally done. The elves won the deployment, so they get to activate first, and that means our leader is going to step up. He's gonna move the 6 centimeters. He's gonna stop right here. And then he's going to cast a spell. He's going to use all 3 of his spell points in this first turn to cast Protection. At least if he can roll, now that is a 2-point spell, so he needs a 3 or better. Got it. So I'm going to mark, I wish I had my pipe cleaners. These forces. These 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, they are bespelled. They have protection cast on them. They will be at +1. They have a little magic shield, +1 on the whole unit, on their defense rolls, the next time they take a hit. The orcs get to go next, and I'm going to do some alternating movement, and we'll come back when we have to roll some dice, which won't take long because the orcs are going to bring their archers up to here. 6 centimeters. You're supposed to measure for each individual figure, but that's close enough. As you can see, they are within 24 centimeters. 24 centimeters is right here. So they're going to target the leader. They have a quality of 5, meaning they hit on 5. They get a single hit. Because he's in the swamp, he's hiding behind all the bracken, he is at +1. Normally, his defense is 4 up. He's going to be at a 3 up. He fails his armor roll, which means he will take 1 wound. I have red pieces. And he will be stunned, and for the purposes of objectives, he has not secured objective 6. Roll a d6. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's not true. He's a hero. He has 3 wounds. He's tough 3. That means until he takes his 3rd wound, we don't roll to see what happens to him. Gotta remember that. That's the case for each of these big boys. In fact, is that what we do next? No, I think we are going to take advantage of our superior range. 30 centimeters means this unit is in range. This elf sniper, I'll pull back so you can see him a little bit better. I got 2 of them down here. He's going to go ahead and take a shot at these warriors right here. With a 3, he's going to miss, and we'll bring up. Who do we want to commit with next? Let me show you the head game over here on the left. We've got 1 rider versus 2 riders. They're playing a game of chicken to see who's going to commit to which one of those objective markers first. Because then, like, if the orcs move first, this guy can challenge for the 1. If he moves first, then the orcs can split their attention, challenge 1, and automatically grab the second one. Or they have the option of hitting this guy 1, 2, and seeing if they can put him down, and then owning this side of the table. We're not doing that just yet. We're still over here, figuring we might as well go ahead and grab objective 3. If you can end the turn within 3 inches of it, then you control it. And since we have 1 more sniper to take a shot at these guys, we'll do that. A 4 is going to hit. They have a defense of 5, and they fail. So one of those orcs is eliminated from the table. So those 2 orcs will only attack twice when they get into hand-to-hand combat. Then likewise, same thing, right? We got 2 guys. We know they're going to come storming in, but we're going to wait. Now our scary shield guys, the reason they waited is they wanted those archers to commit. They're going to run up to here and stop. They're actually going to stop just a little bit further back to see what these guys do. Because these guys, they don't want to be close enough for these guys to get stuck in. They want to stop just far enough away that all these guys can do. And in fact, these guys are happy to oblige. They're more than happy to let the archers take a couple more shots and soften them up. The orcs get to go now, so we'll bring this guy up his full 12. And we're going to cross a little bit that way. So our rider now can move. He's fast, so he can move. I think he is. He's fast. He's got impact 1. So he can move 3, 10, and he can still move another 6. So he can come up. Ooh. So the difficulty is if he stops here, that's where we're going to stop right now. We're close enough to objective 5 that even if the big guy comes in as full 12, he's too far away. Objective marker number 5 is contested at the end of this turn. So the only thing left to do, it's the elves' turn to activate, is to commit with this guy. I think we can stop him right here. And then the orc rider, who is going to be, he has just enough movement. He's going to charge into combat. And that, now this is rough for him. He has Devour, Fast Frenzy, Scout, Strider. That's a lot of abilities. There's a lot going on here. Basically, Devour means his mount gets an attack. If we roll a 6 on the blue die, that's 1 hit. He also counts as being Furious, which means on the 2 red die, he's got 2 attacks. If those come up 6, each of those counts as 2 successful hits. So, no, no, and no. But he does have a quality of 5. So he does score a single hit against the rider. And that rider has a defense of 4. He's successful. Our old boy, the elf does want to counterattack. He has 1 attack, has a lance. He doesn't have the AP. He doesn't have any of that stuff. So it's just 1 attack. He gets a 6, which is a successful hit. I don't think he does. Silver Cavalry, Fast Impact 1. Impact 1 just means after charging for each 2+, you take 1 hit. Impact, it's basically a free attack. But we have to make the armor check on the Boar Rider. He's got a defense of 6. He fails. He's going to take 1 wound. And I think because he is stunned, he falls back first, and then he's stunned. So he goes back. He's not challenging for number 4, and that means unless we want to give up that objective marker, we're going to have to stop right here with the other Boar Rider, and that's going to deny the elves control objective marker 4 here at the end of the first turn. All of that means at the end of turn number 1, the elves are contesting for 4 and 5. The orcs have seized objective 3. The elves have seized objective 6. Nobody scores any points in this turn. The orcs have not destroyed a hero. They do not control objective 5. They have not destroyed an enemy unit. So here's our spell points for the big guy. And we move on and we start turn number 2. Because the orcs were the last to activate on turn number 1, the elves will be the first to activate here on turn number 2. And the first thing, now here's where it gets interesting. We could charge this guy because he's still down. If you conduct a melee attack, you automatically put him out of his misery. Alternatively, we could wait until he stands up. We could force him to stand up and waste one of the activations. If we were playing a wait-and-see game, that is exactly what we would do. The only reason I can think that we might do that is if we wanted to see what was happening here. This guy is about to get absolutely creamed. I think he's done everything he can. I think we got to get him out of there. And that means we're going to pull him back 16. He is going to get absolutely crushed. So we give up a couple of victory points, but 10 will take us to there. And so 16, we're going to bring him all the way over here to these. I'll pull back a little so you can see. So he's going to ride back around this way. He may be able to get to that marker and grab that point instead. Since it is the orc's turn, we'll stand him up. That's all he can do. And then we'll bring our rider over to, we're going to try to finish him off. That rider, that fast rider, he has impact 1. So roll a die, and for every 2+, the target takes a hit. So the blue die is that one, and the red die is his normal attack with a quality of 4. We get 2 hits on the orc, who now has to defend with a defense of 6. The Boar Rider, misses both of those, takes 2 more wounds. We roll a d6 and add 3, and he is eliminated. Now that does mean our Silver Knight can move 3 inches. When you eliminate an enemy unit, you can make a follow-up move of up to 3 inches, which we will use to move over to here. I don't know if you can use that 3 inches to move into combat and fight a second fight. I do know he's going to be attacking at 6s, and that wouldn't count as a charge. In Age of Fantasy Regiments, I think you do fight a second round of combat, but I can't find that in Age of Fantasy Skirmish, so we're just not going to do that. We will go ahead and see if our Boar Rider, who now moves up, and he's going to have his normal 2 attacks. Oh, his normal 1 attack. Wait. The Boar Rider has 2 attacks at 5, and then because he charged, he's got the Devour, he's got the blue die at 6. He gets a single hit on the Silver Cavalry, who defends on a 4-up. He defends. He can counterattack, but he only hits on a 6. Oh, that's impressive. Way to go. And with great drama, too. Defending on a 6, that's not going to do it. The Boar Rider goes down and is stunned. And now, at the end of the turn, the elves will be able to seize objective marker 4. Oh, unless we roll a 6 here. We add 1, we get a 5. Yeah, he is stunned. Add 1 for the wounds. If on a 6, the guy's eliminated. That means it is the elves' turn, and we're going to start by moving. Let me slide over so we can see what's going on the elvish right-hand side. We're going to move this guy up 6 centimeters, less than 6, so he can still get a shot off at these guys with the scary shields. The archers have an attack of 1. Quality 4, he misses. That means these archers can fire into these guys. And the orcs have a quality of 5, so 3 shots. And I should point out that all miss. I should point out the guy in the center here is a sergeant, which means he has I think he's got a +1. They got 1 sergeant. Yeah, one of those guys gets +1 to attack. I'm going to move. Do we want to go ahead and attack? They're all at -1 because of the scary shields. I'm going to bring this archer over here, and he is going to take a shot at those archers. The elf is going to be hitting on a 4, so that's a hit. The orc shooter is defending on a 5, and he defends successfully. So now the scary shields move into attack. Remember, +1 to defense on those armor rolls, but scary shields are going to be attacking and hitting on 5s. They get the first attack. They get a single hit. The elvish guys are defending on a 5, so they're fine. They will counterattack. Now, normally they're hitting on 4s, but because of the scary shields, they're hitting on 5s. They get a pair of hits. Oh, okay, so this goes away, because that roll was actually at +1. They do get a pair of hits that the guys with the scary shields are going to be defending on 5s. They do not defend either. 2 of these guys are eliminated, and the swordsmen have to fall back. That was the orcish turn. So now, on the elvish turn, the elves can close and make an attack. And they are still going to be at -1. Well, they're hitting on 6s now. And they get a pair of them. That one lone guy is going to miss both of his defensive rolls with a 2 and a 4. Oh, I even forgot to check. I forgot to roll a blue die for the sergeant's +1. 2 wounds, rolling a d6, adding 2, we get a 4, which means he is stunned. And the swordsmen have to drop back just a little bit, which will be a problem for them because these 2 orc guys can charge in. And, again, I forgot they're furious. There's only 2 of them. They are only hitting on 5s, but on 6s they do 2 wounds, which they didn't get. They didn't get any hits. Counterattacking, looking for 6s, nothing doing. These 2 orcs are going to fall back. And that's it for that side of the table. Now, the bull-headed leader can move to there. We got to figure out what to do. Ooh, we're going to bring our wizard into the maze. Now, he can only move 6 centimeters on this turn. So we're going to bring him right over to here. And there's a 1 in 6 chance he takes a wound. He does not. It only happens on a 1. That will be the end. And there's his 1 wound. That will be the end of turn number 2. So I will move the black die. I'm going to leave it in the swamp for now to turn number 3. 6 is the maximum number of spell points you can have. But I think we're going to burn some. Oh, that's not the end of the turn, by the way. I forgot. Mr. Ogre is going to come stand right here. And that means that our orcs are going to seize 4, or 5 and 2, but the elves will seize number 4, and I think everything else stays as is. The elves have seized objective marker 4. They score 1 victory point, and they get a new card. Said card, drawing from the top of the deck, is going to be Terrify. 1 enemy unit fails a morale test. Well, they're going to have to kill half of the other opposing force. And that's kind of hard to do when you've only got 4 turns to operate. I've already given the leader his 3 tokens. So the question becomes, what do the elves want to do first? And I think the first thing we do is we eliminate this guy right here. Kapow. We're just going to ride over him, make an attack with that silver rider, and that's going to eliminate the other boar rider. Now we're in good position over there. That does, unfortunately, allow Mr. Ogre to get into grips with the High Noble for the elves. Mr. Ogre has 2 attacks with a quality of 4. These are at AP 1. So quality of 4, looking for 4s. He's going to score a single hit, for which the High Noble has to cast, let's see, what has he got? He's got a defense of 4, and he fails. So he takes his 2nd wound. If he takes 1 more, he's going to have to start making those checks. And he says, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use my melee attack to counterattack. I've got 3 attacks with AP 1, and they are rending. Unmodified results of 6 count as AP 4. So we get 2 hits, one of which has AP 4. Okay, so the blue die is at AP 4. These are both defensive dice. The only way to save the blue is with a 6, so it is saved. The big boy, the Ogre Warrior, has a defensive 4. He's going to block both of those. He's going to have to stagger back. Did we? Oh, we don't roll for the stunned roll yet because our High Noble has toughness 3. And remember, this is a victory point. If the orcs can destroy a hero, they get 1 VP. Unfortunately, the High Elf Noble is going to cast a quench spell. Target enemy unit within 12 inches takes 2 hits. Now that costs 2 points to cast. And he's going to juice it by 2. He definitely wants to deliver 2 hits on that guy. He's spending 4 points. Anything but a 1, he gets the spell off. So he gets the spell off, and the Ogre Warrior is going to take 2 hits. He is at defense 4. And it's just defense, yeah. So just defense of 4. He's going to miss 1, and that just does 1 wound. I still think that's a safer play than with tough 3, he's still going to hang out there. But I still think that's a better play because if you take 1 more wound, you're starting to make those death checks, and that's not going to go well. The orcs get to go next, and I think we'll bring our big boy. He can move 12, so that's 6 to here, and then another 6 will take him back to here. The leader's going to come over and try to challenge for these points over here. To which the elves say, yeah, I'm going to make you choose which one you want to go for. I'm going to move this guy 4, and then he can go another 12. He's going to have to stop. Well, we got to worry about we got to worry about that rough going. We can move him 6 to about here, and then 10 will take him up to there, and hopefully he's close enough. He can get within 3 inches of that one, survive Old Mother Willow, and do some good. Well, that takes us all the way over here. We've done everything over on the left-hand side of the table, and we get this confusion over here on the right side. The orcs have to decide, are they going to stand this fallen guy up and concede the initiative? Or are they going to fire with their bows? They're going to try to take out this bowman. Or do they... Ooh, this is rough. I think they're going to lose this fight. This is going to be important. Let's take this guy out. If we can eliminate one of the units, we get a victory point. Shooting on 5s, we whiffed. It didn't matter who we were shot at. we weren't going to get any successes anyway. So the archers have gone. We could send this archer up to take this guy out, which would leave our fighters free to attack these guys. Or we could use our fighters. If we use our fighters to curb stomp the fallen Scary Shield guy, then that leaves our archer exposed to these two. I think he can do it. We're going to go for the kill. We just want to eliminate units at this point. So they run up and they jump on him, and that's all they're going to do, which means these guys have the motion that they can charge and attack this archer. I don't know how tough these archers are in hand-to-hand combat. They did one hit to him, and he is going to save. Now, he's at +1 on the save. He's got a defensive 4. No, he's got a defensive 5. 2's not going to do it. He is at +1 because of the magic spell. Oh, but that's not going to do it either. So we'll replace the magic protection with a stunned result. And then this archer can say, hey, I can't let you do that, my buddy. So they back off a little bit. And this archer decides to shoot back. Oh, I forgot to roll. So that's the shot. I forgot to roll for the wound here. Let me roll a blue die for that. A 2 means he is merely stunned. The archer hits with a 4. The orcs do not save with a 3, so they lose another of their warriors. And that will end the turn. So we move on to turn number 4. This is the last of them, so I'm just going to pull that die out of there. But we need to check victory conditions, don't we? The orcs have lost 3 of their 7 units. They don't need to take a morale check yet. They lose 1 more unit, they do. Important note. So I gave 3 more spell points to the Elvish big guy. Control objective marker 6 at the beginning and end of the same round. The elves score another 2 victory points. Or is that their first 2? I think that takes them to a total of 3 victory points. They get a new objective in round 4 if they can control objective marker 2. Kind of a tall order. I don't know that one's going to happen. On the other side of the table, the orcs have to control objective marker 5 at the beginning and end of the same round, which they did. This is number 5 here, so they score 2 victory points. I'm going to put that up there on their side. The elvish cards are over there. And they get a new card, which says control objective marker 1. All right, well, that kind of dictates their strategy for this turn, doesn't it? This guy's in trouble. He doesn't have enough movement to get to number 1, but the elves do. Oh, it's going to come down to the objectives. The orcs finished movement first. They get to move first on this turn, and that means they can bring this guy 6 centimeters. Oh boy, they could bring him over here. Instead, what's the first thing they want to do? They're going to defend that victory. He's going to pull back and force these guys to fight. So he pulls back. I don't know if you can see him where I put him. Yeah, there he is. See how he's the lone orc defending that area? Then the elves can go. And we gotta blast this guy again. Actually, do we fall back a little bit? No, but we can use Tempest. Target 2 enemy units within 12 inches. We don't have 2 enemy units. Target 4. What else do we got here? Anything good? Target enemy unit within 12 inches takes 2 hits. Or 1 hit with AP2. We're going to try to cast the Magical Surge again. And this is all the points we got. So I'm going to burn them all to succeed on anything but a 1. With a 4, the Elf Lord gets that spell off. The Ogre now has to make 2 defense checks at 4 up, and he makes them both. So he just shrugs it off with no ill effect and says, you want to try those tricks on me, boy? Let's go. Let's get it on. So he rolls 2 attacks. He gets a 6 and a 2. He has AP 1, and that's it. So the Elf King, the High Noble, has to pass a defense roll of 4. Oh, he needs a 5 to succeed. He doesn't get it. So we're going to roll at +3. He gets a 5, so he is merely stunned with his 3rd wound. All running out of wound markers down here, so he falls down, and the ogre retreats just 1 centimeter. Secure that he at least kind of crushed the guy. Then the elves get to go, and they're going to... I don't have a whole lot of options here, do we? We'll stand... We're gonna seize this objective over here. We can just crawl in the 6 inches. We need to roll. On a 6, he takes a wound, or on a 1 rather, because he's in a dangerous territory. Then we'll bring this guy is within 12, so the big boss man, 4 attacks at AP 1. He hits on a 4s. He gets just a single hit. There's the roll. He got a single hit with a 6. Does that give him anything? No, he's just hero and tough. So that hit on the rider is the rider succeeds. Oh, wait, we're at AP 1. The Silver Cavalry's defense is 4. He needs a 5. He saves the hit and says, you know what? I'm not going to attack. I'm just going to fade back. Oh, is it my turn? I'm going to charge. He's not going to charge in. He doesn't need to do that. The big guy is further than 3 centimeters away. He's not close enough to defend. In fact, we could even just like pull him back to there. We could charge if we wanted to, but we don't need to. The next thing we can do is we got these 3 guys and those archers. That's all that's left to be done. And I don't think any of those are going to make it much of a difference. Destroy 1 enemy melee, destroy 3. No, destroy 1 enemy model with the hero rule. Oh, we needed to kill that guy. We should have brought the Minotaur over to stomp on him. That might have been a smarter play. Let's go ahead and try to crush this guy. Oh, you know what? That's what we want to do. If we can beat this guy in melee, our 3 warriors have... We get to roll 3 dice. They are rending, and look at that. That might have saved it right there. Rending counts as AP 4. That lone orc has to roll a lot of 6s. Well, okay. Got to play it by the rules here, right? He only saves on 6s. He saves 1 wound, so he is going to have 2 wounds. I got to roll 1 die to see whether he's stunned or not. He is merely stunned. So he falls down, and I really now it occurs to me when it's this late of a juncture, if your guy goes down as stunned, can you still make your consolidation move? If the unit was destroyed by removing all models, if neither was destroyed, the charging unit must move back by 1. There you go. So all they needed to do was roll a 3, or this guy had 2 wounds. On a 4, 5, 6, he would have been gone. These fighters could have moved up and consolidated and scored that point. That was a very heroic stand. We'll go ahead and bring, you know what, these guys are just going to say, we're 12 centimeters away. You want me to measure it? They're going to go ahead and try to kill this guy. Yeah, so these 3 move to here, and they eliminate another unit of elves. That does score them a victory point, by the way. And then they're going to take a shot from this guy, and that's going to end the turn. He gets a 6. They get a 1. One of the orcs goes down. And this guy over here. This is the archer that was shooting at him. And that will end the game, so we have to do some more. The only other objective that changes hands is this one, captured by the rider. That speed really worked, right? A lot of motion in this game. That brings us to victory points. The orcs were able to destroy 1 unit in melee, not 3. They only managed 1. But they did secure and hold one of the objective markers, objective marker 5, for 3 points. Add up the 3 objective markers that they held, they'll finish up with 6. Whereas the elves controlled objective marker 4 and objective marker 6 at the beginning and end of the round for 3. Plus 3, and it's a draw. Oh, it's the dreaded sister kiss. And it's the, wait a minute, who was supposed to control objective marker 1? That's the tiebreaker, isn't it? The elves win because they scored this objective marker at the end, 7-6. Oh, it's so much more satisfying to get through, I don't know, what is this, a 45-minute video and have a tie? Ugh, this ain't the NFL. This ain't soccer. I'm going to pause for a minute here so my American fans can make their own jokes about the sexual proclivities of people who enjoy soccer. Till next time. Oh, and I was wearing the I'm praying for you.